Hello and welcome to a festive edition of Go Ballistic SunSport's look back at the Premiership weekend and look ahead to a fantastic Boxing Day fixture card. With us, as ever, SunSport's Kris Boyd. Boydie, you're packing up your turkey sandwiches in the Tupperware and heading for Tynecastle. Boxing Day, lunchtime, Hearts against Hibs, and the two of them are in far better nick than they were before. They both got wins at the weekend. Hearts, home to St Johnstone, and Hibs putting the pressure again on Aberdeen side that's not won in 6 weeks.
100%. I'll only be there if I'm able to move after the amount I'm going to eat on Christmas Day, though, Roger. I'll let you know. But yeah, as you say, both are in good form. It's back-to-back home victories for Hearts. Obviously with the victory over Dundee and St Johnstone the weekend, and Hibs doing reasonably well. One defeat in 5. And that was against Celtic. You just wonder now if Martin Boyle coming back to form, Nicky Cadden, what a finish that was the weekend. Yeah. Eli Johan as well. It's 2-2 for him. So you look at, it's got the makings of a few weeks ago, but you're saying maybe both teams would begin, and it would be we don't want to make any mistakes, and it could end up being one of those Edinburgh derbies like they normally are, boring and a very difficult watch. Whereas now both of them will maybe be looking at it saying, "Oh, we've got a wee chance of going and winning this year. We might see something different." I know he got a goal chopped off the young boy Wilson again, but it was a tidy finish from him. There's something to like about him, Roger.
Well, he made his name scoring that equaliser at Easter Road early in the season, just turned 17 years of age at the time. Neil Critchley clearly likes him, Boydie, because he's starting him in the big European game. He's starting him again against St Johnstone. Will he start in the derby? Yeah,
I think he has to. Because you look at, he's obviously the one that's the number 9 as such, and Shanklin's the one that's going to drop back. And if you look back over the last couple of years with Lawrence Shanklin, he seems to have played his best football just off of a striker. And I think with Wilson coming into the team, that allows him to go back to doing that. Plain and simply because I think as a youngster, you'll chase lost causes, you'll go and harass defenders, but he's also got that composure when it comes in the box. And I think, usually when you're that one, it's the highest. You're the one that the natural movement takes you away into the corner flags as such, or the channels, shall we say. Lawrence Shanklin doesn't want to be doing that. If he is the one that drops down, by the time the move happens and everything, he can then get himself in the box. And he's someone, as I said, a couple of goals a couple of weeks ago, and then he obviously suspended and in the European game. But you kind of feel, you get the feeling as if if Shanklin or Wilson, that they could cause Hibs problems, because defensively, I don't think Hibs are that great. We've seen that, but they're in fine form. Hibs, it's not an easy place to, or it wasn't an easy place to go, shall we say, Pittodrie. Seems to be now, though. By the way, I'm not hearing much from my old friends up north these days.
Aberdeen?
No, I'm not hearing much. No wins in 6.
Very quiet. That was a really, really poor. I mean, they had the lead. Topi Keskinen had them ahead. You expected them to go on and win. What is going wrong?
I haven't a clue, because they're not coming on at my social media. They're not letting me know. I mean, a few weeks ago they were telling me how good they were. I'm not hearing from them these days. I'm missing them.
No Christmas cards?
Nothing. Probably not. No. I'm off the naughty list from them, but with them. But
listen, I'm not going to get.
It would be a little bit of a worry, though, Roger. Because we spoke about Aberdeen, and rightly so, in terms of how impressive they were at the start of the season. As I said, no wins in 6. Two of those defeats have came at home as well, albeit one against Celtic. But the one at the weekend with the hurt, especially after taking the lead, and you think to yourself, okay, maybe they've turned the corner and are back to winning ways. But I know there's been 3 draws in there, but just for Aberdeen, I think, did they travel to Rugby Park on?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They go and see the 3 wise men: Derek McInnes, Paul Sheeran, and Alan Archibald on Boxing Day. Killie look as if they're beginning to get moving. That was the last time out at home, remember? They beat Hearts with 10 men, 5 minutes. A hard-fought point at Motherwell. We'll get to Motherwell in a minute. But Killie, a bit like Hearts and Hibs, they look as if they're sort of upwardly mobile, which will spell problems for Ross County and St Johnstone.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kilmarnock obviously go to Firth Park and get a point on Friday night as well. I think the least said about the refereeing performance there, the better. But I know we'll touch on it. But you know, Kilmarnock, it was a big. You felt as if last Sunday was a big victory for Kilmarnock. After Dee's been sent off. I mean, what was it? 5 minutes into the game, after he goes so early, you're thinking, oh, at home it could be another. It could start to turn for Derek McInnes, and if because of the home form's been that good, the Kilmarnock fans just expect now. We spoke about it last week or the week before that Kilmarnock's fixtures have been so unbalanced.
Yeah.
They've now got a run of games where they're going to be at home. So as I said, if Kilmarnock are going to turn the corner, start climbing the table, then you would imagine it's going to be in this little period of five out of the next 7 or something like that, or 6 out of 8, whatever it is, I can't remember, is at home. So you can get the feeling that this is when it will turn for Kilmarnock. But as you say, Ross County and St Johnstone, it would maybe start to worry me now, because I think we've spoken about how poor Hibs have been, we've spoken about how poor Hearts have been. Kilmarnock, yes, it was Europe at the start of the season, but it's not really been great for them, over a period of time as well. But the three of them find themselves above the two we've just mentioned there. You were at Ross County the weekend. What's the atmosphere like? What was it?
Well, it was strange. St Mirren probably deserved to be ahead at half-time. Big Iacovitti scored back up there. He didn't do an Andy Halliday. He did celebrate against his old team. Start the second half, though. County came out, scored an equaliser. St Mirren got down to 10 men with Scott Tanser sent off. 55 minutes. You're expecting County, who prior to Saturday, their only home defeats had come against the top three, Celtic, Aberdeen and Rangers. You expect County to kick on and win the game. And they just didn't kick on. And Ellery Balcom didn't have a save to make. And St Mirren, they went to 4 at the back. Richard Taylor went to left back. I wouldn't say they controlled the play, but the better of the chances. And the finish with a free kick from Ocean Smith is fantastic. And they're, by the way, St Mirren, they're now cemented in the top 6. They're 5 points clear.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think when you, but another decision in that one as well. I didn't think it was a second yellow card. Did you?
For Tanser?
Yeah.
He did one. You know something? He did one a couple of minutes earlier, Boyd.
Right.
And I thought, oh, he's not going to get any more. He's out of lives here.
Yeah.
And then the next foul, I would think it was just one too many for the ref, and he sent him off.
I don't even. I mean, when you look at it as well, he can pull out, and I don't know. There might be something needing to be looked at in that, the VAR in terms of that second yellow card. Can they start to maybe look at that? But there was a discussion over the weekend. If they get the first one wrong, then do they go back and check that as well? So I mean, you can. I think for a second yellow card for the way it is, it's not right.
Do you not think VAR and rest of it a bad enough 10 days? I mean, let's go to Friday night at Puck Park, Motherwell, Kilmarnock. Of all the Christmas cards handed out at this time of year, surely that's the most laughable. Dan Casey.
Well, I think when you look at it, Roger, I mean, Kilmarnock have got a blatant penalty in the game as well, right?
Yeah.
Blatant penalty.
I'll be discussing that with my friend Andy Halliday in a separate show later on.
And nobody's really speaking about it.
Yeah.
Because of the red card. I mean, it is absolutely ludicrous to think that is a red card. And by the way, fine, fair enough. If you think he's done something in the game and that's your reaction, red card, because you've seen him lift a hand, when you go and look at it at the monitor and double down on it, what are you thinking about? I mean, Chris Graham. Oh yeah. It's. I don't know. I
mean, you spoke in your column in the Scottish Sun on Saturday. Yeah, you spoke in your column in the Scottish Sun on Saturday about refereeing decisions of late, the pressure that's getting put on Willie Collum, and why Ian Maxwell and Mike Mulroney need to get involved and support Willie Collum in what's beginning to develop into a mini crisis in refereeing in this country. Where do they go from here?
Well, I think when you we've obviously had some decisions that, and from the start of the season through, that's just part of the course. That's what happens in football. But you just kind of get the feeling the last 3-4 weeks as such, there's just been so many big calls. One, you're saying, let the referee go. You don't need to, but if you're indecisive yourself, send them to the monitor in the cup final. You don't need to, but if you have to send them there, then he can make a decision. But then you've got, on the flip side of that, you've got VAR sending the referee to the monitor, and he's doubling down on it. I mean, I cannot believe for the life of me that anybody would think that was a red card. And as I said, we're speaking about that because it's the talking point, and it's the one where it is laughable. But the penalty, I mean, again, you can maybe see it gets to the blind side, but surely VAR have just got to send up to the monitor for that one as well. I mean, it's incredible. And Kilmarnock, by the way, Kilmarnock have been on the wrong receiving end of a few wrong decisions from VAR this year as well.
Yes, says former Kilmarnock striker Kris Boyd.
Yes, but I'm sure Derek will be delighted that I'm backing him up. But you know, but it just can't happen. It cannot happen. But I do. I'll echo what I said in Saturday. I feel sorry for Willie Collum because I think we're a period of time with referees in Scotland because there's maybe been a few came to the end. Willie being one himself who's decided to move on and do what he's doing now. There was 4 or 5 that finished up not so long ago that were refereeing Premiership games nearly every week.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, you might have 3, 4, 5 maybe that you can say, yeah, they're our top referees. We can get them on our games. And I what I said in Saturday, get your best men on the job. I totally agree. But at the same time, we need to find a way to allow, youngsters or maybe inexperienced ones the experience of refereeing in big games in the top flight.
Yeah.
Or that's the only way they're going to get better. But as I said, I think for Willie Cock, there is a shortage of referees out there, and he's having to fast track a few probably younger ones that have probably not refereed at the lower levels for the period of time that they should have, to learn their trade as such. Yeah. But because of we needed more officials for VAR and top flight as well. It's a difficult period for the referees right now. Very, very difficult period. And as I said, it might just be, I think we would be wasting money. The likes of John Beaton and people like that who are, they're fit anyway, but making them full-time referees, I think we would be wasting money in that because obviously the job that they do, they do it to the best. Right now, you can see John Beaton's as fit as a fiddle, and Nick Walsh is fit. The top referees are fit in our country. So, and I'm not saying it from just in being in that football environment every single day, that refereeing environment culture for maybe a few youngsters would help them. As I said, but there's no point in putting the older experienced guys in that bracket because you would be wasting money. But I think there's an opportunity to do something with ones at the bottom or the younger ones who are starting to come up through because we need to get more referees to top flight. We need to get better ones. And you look at, Willie in terms of he has to give people an opportunity. But you're then looking at it saying, and I know people will say, the big games are the Old Firm games, the Edinburgh derbies, Aberdeen Rangers, Aberdeen Celtic, these are big games. But the harsh reality of, say, at the weekend there, Motherwell versus Kilmarnock, those decisions go the wrong way. But one of them could end up, in a relegation battle and get relegated off the back of that. And I know there'll be referees and there'll be people out there saying, "Well, you don't get relegated by one bad decision," but that can send you in a bad run. That can start to spiral out of control. And there was a few things, and you just can't. There's a few things that are not really. If I was Willie, I would be a little bit concerned, and it's out with his control. Because he's, as I said, he has been very good since he's come in, very good. And I think what we need to do is give him all the support we can because there's no point in having a go at Willie Collum because he's had a very good career and I think the job he's doing right now is really good. The unfortunate thing for him is some of his referees are just not very good. And the whole VAR scenario is now highlighting that.
Motherwell hope to get their appeal against Dan Casey's red card held so they can free him up potentially to play at Celtic in boxing.
I would like to think that even the SFA would have just been in contact with Motherwell. Motherwell wouldn't even have had to have asked for that appeal. They would just have said, listen, it's rescinded because, as I said, it's one thing making a decision on the field because, the heat of the moment and everything that comes along with being on the field. But to then go and watch it again and think it's a red card, come on. I mean, it's an absolute crazy decision. And by the way, when you look at it, it's another decision that Willie doesn't need it. It doesn't need these things because that's what everybody's going to be talking about. This is one that could have been solved. Simple. It's
Exactly.
not a hard decision, this one.
Motherwell want all their top defenders for Celtic back. Celtic, of course, 0-0 at Tannadice. Brendan Rodgers made changes yesterday. Didn't quite get the response he was looking for. He'll probably make changes again for the Motherwell game. But a lot of Celtic supporters talking about one of our stories, Derek McGregor, our football editor, story last week, about the potential of Kieran Tierney coming back to Celtic next year. What do you make of that, Kris?
I'm a bit like quite a lot of the Celtic fans, to be fair. There's no doubt that a fit and firing all cylinders Kieran Tierney is an exceptional player, and we've seen that over the years. But I mean, it's not going to be a cheap deal. It's not going to, Kieran Tierney might be a Celtic fan, and everybody thinks, Kieran Tierney's coming home, but he's not coming home for nothing. Yeah. It will be an expensive, and I know he's out of contract, but in terms of wages, it will be an expensive deal, because I would imagine it will be touching, £25 million, you're going to be round about 100 grand a week, maybe even more at Arsenal. That's 5 years he's been down there now. 2019, obviously left Celtic for £25 million. But it's been a little bit stop-start from him in recent times. Obviously went to Real Sociedad last year as well and got some minutes. But I think he's 27, he should be at the prime of his career. There is no doubt for me. I think if Kieran Tierney can get a run of games, there will probably be other teams in England or maybe abroad looking at him potentially. I get why it does tick a lot of boxes for Celtic, but again, it's the whole fitness thing for me. In terms of that wage that you're going to have to pay Kieran Tierney to come to Celtic, and if if there is injuries and again. You look at Greg Taylor. He's always there. He's always fit. He's out of contract. You go from somebody that's always fit to somebody that's I wouldn't say always injured, but Kieran Tierney's been struggling recently. But again, there is no doubt. Kieran Tierney's an exceptional football player, but it's not the Kieran Tierney that's 21-year-old that's going to get up and down that left wing. He's 27. He's not old. As I said, he's a lot of injuries, but I just forget. If it's Celtic, whatever it is, I just hope for Kieran Tierney he can get back to playing week in, week out, because for Scotland as well, there is no doubt that he's been one of the exceptional talents that Scotland have produced over a number of years now, and it would help the national team, Steve Clarke, and for the boy himself. He played a lot of football when he was young. You maybe wonder, is that catching up with him now, or is it caught up with him? But I just think, for Celtic, it might be an expensive deal for something that you're not. And I know they'll say, well, you can't guarantee with any player. But when you've got a track record of being injured for a period of time, you can understand why there might be a few Celtic fans out there saying, it wouldn't be a cheap deal, shall we say. But again, it's one of their own coming home, isn't it?
Looking ahead to these Boxing Day games, Boyd, the evening game, St Mirren against Rangers. I saw St Mirren win. Ocean Smith set up one, scored the other, looked really good. Rangers, big anniversary day at Ibrox that weekend, but performance didn't really hit the heights of some of the recent performances. 1-0 at home to Dundee. Václav Černý scoring again early in the second half.
Yes, it was a really good goal. Obviously Danilo round the corner with a pass, and Černý goes through in goal rounds. Goalkeeper Carson and puts in the back of the net. It was a good goal from Rangers' point of view. I'm a little bit torn, to be honest, Roger, because on another day with the same performance as well, by the way, because it was in front of goal, Rangers could easily have walked away 4-5-0 here, and everybody would have been, it was brilliant, it was this, it was that. They did create opportunities, but again, you give. Dundee had a couple of moments towards the end. I know Simon Murray was offside one of the times he was through, but there was a couple of corners where you're thinking, all it takes is something to happen here, and then you're going to drop more points, which wasn't the case. And you just look at Rangers and think you've got to get those that type of game. You've got to kill it early doors. The longer it goes on, and you give the opposition a chance to come in it, to stay in the game, and you just never know what's going to happen, especially because the conditions were terrible. It was windy. It was raining. You just you kind of felt as if it was anything could have happened because of Rangers not taking the chances. Iggy, the chance he had, I thought it was like you in front of goal.
Very harsh, boy. They'll let you off with that because it's Christmas. What we're not going to let you off with, we'll have you back on Friday for a special Go Ballistic looking back on the Boxing Day games. It's not too much football, loads of football. We've had football at the weekend, we're back Boxing Day, there's games the 29th, there's games the 2nd of January, we've got championship stuff all the way through 28th, 31st and the 4th. It's brilliant, Boydie. You have a great Christmas, don't eat too much, and we'll see you at Tynecastle on Boxing Day.
I can't stick to that promise. I'm going to eat. I'm going to eat. I'm going to eat. I'm telling you that right now. I'm going to eat, and I'm going to eat a lot.
Merry Christmas to all the boys.
Cheers, have a good one. I hope Santa's good to you.
Thank you.
Cheers.